All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us the truth and who also were well. Peace and salutation to those of the hopeful elect. Okay. I just want to get a quick precept. All right. This is Mark chapter 13. And I'm going to start at 32 just to get to the point. It says, but of that day and that hour, no man, Salakia. I'll read that again. Mark 13 and 32. It says, but of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. All right. So, as far as prophecy being fulfilled, all right, the Lord Yahweh Shai returning, all right, the only, entity, the only power that knows the exact date and time is the Heavenly Father Yahweh. All right. Even Yahweh Shai is waiting, for the go ahead from his Father. All right. Verse 33, it says, take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. All right. So we don't know the exact time. All right. But we understand that we are in, the window that the Lord said that these things was going to happen. All right. We could see Jacob's trouble literally at the door. All right. The hour of temptation, Esau, Edom pushing forward, his C-hip agenda. All right. The, that beast technology. All right. So, seeing, therefore, we are to be on our watch. All right. And this is, an exhortation. All right. First to myself, as well as those that may hear. Okay. To continue to watch. All right. Because, let me get this real quick. Bear with me. This is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. I'm going to start at 1. It says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. All right. So we understand that, we don't know the exact day that the Lord is going to bring the judgment, the collapse of America, Jacob's trouble. All right. We don't know the exact time, date to the millisecond. All right. But we know that we are in that time and it can happen in any moment. All right. That's why I'm going to read that again. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 1. It says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Why? Because we're already watching. We already understand that, we're in those heavy times. OK, so I'm going to continue to read. It says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. All right. And these people are going to be taken as pretty much being overthrown by a thief in the night. All right. Because they're not watching for the thief. They're not watching, for the calamities that's coming. All right. These people, they're in the world. They're living their lives as if, nothing is going to happen. All right. And here it is, within these people's worlds, they choose to anything negative. All right. Because these people, they don't have a way out of America. All right. And 2/3 of Israel, they don't want to choose the only way out, which is through Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and the order, the men that the Lord set up. OK, our people, they reject that. So therefore, they have no out. All right. This is their here and now. All right. And anything that has to do with this world and their worlds coming to an end. All right. They don't want to hear that. They don't want that, in their world. So they, when they hear the word, they reject it. They plug their ears. They turn, an eye to it. All right, these words that we're speaking, the words of prophecy, makes these people very uncomfortable. All right, which is why the world is eventually they're going to come after us. All right, in the form of persecution. Okay, but us, we seek a kingdom to come. We can see, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, the Lord has given us that eye salve. We see that the Lord has eternity prepared for us, a whole kingdom. All right, we see how the Lord is getting ready to revamp the earth, and it needs it. All right, the Lord is going to revamp the rulership. Okay, we see all these things and we're anticipating it. Okay, verse 3 says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So the people in the world, they're in the spirit of, peace and safety. All right, they have a term, ignorance is a bliss. All right, so they feel like as if, what we're saying is not going to happen. All right, what we're saying concerning prophecy and the judgment of Babylon, America, and Esau, Edom, what we're saying unto them, all right, is just we're just crazy, okay? And how they see it is these things will never happen. All right, but really we're seeing the prophecies play out in real time, and people are trying to ignore it. They're seeing an MOTB that talks about that, and who they thinking about? They're thinking about the men that was teaching. They're seeing, the economy, hyperinflation, okay, the collapse of the dollar. These things are becoming prophecies becoming mainstream. All right, and you heard it first from the mouth of the prophets. All right, so eventually these people, all right, it's going to be a polarized reaction. It's either they're going to hate us or they're going to love us. And the only ones that are truly going to love the prophets, all right, and the message of the gospel are the elect of Israel. All right, the rest, the heathens, 2/3 of Israel, they're going to come up against this truth. Okay. But, harping on a point that, this world, they ain't trying to hear that this world is going to end. All right. The people of this world, they don't want to hear that this world's going to end. All right. But they're going to get hit with prophecy. They're going to be confronted with prophecy, and they're not going to be able to, get around it. They're not going to be able to ignore it, So, verse 4 says, but ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. All right. And I just read, going into how, no man knoweth the hour. All right. Then Yahushua went on to say, to watch and pray. All right. Because we got to watch for the prophecies as well as pray, because, while we're here and while we're waiting for the Lord to deliver us, Abaratazah, we part of that number. All right, we're being attacked. All right, the matrix is attacking us. And when I say that, I'm meaning, the spirits. All right, the left-hand spirits are attacking us. All right, the people of this world are attacking us spiritually. All right, this whole entire world is set up against us. And eventually, Esau, Edom, and the propaganda machine, okay, the whole matrix is going to come after us, but that's just an indicator that we have the truth. All right. And we're watching, all right, for the prophecies, because eventually the heat is going to be off of us, and everybody's going to be in a time of calamity. Everybody's going to be in a time of distress. All right. Because this whole system is getting ready to go under. All right. But these people are not watching for it. OK, these people, they don't want to hear the word. They hate the prophets, the men that the Lord sent out, because. All right. Salakia, my phone had cut out. The audio had cut out. But I'm going to just end it on this precept. This is Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. All right. And it's obvious, we're living in an evil world, an evil society. All right. Just the amount of, perverseness that's allowed, the different type of, when you look at society, you got different, drug epidemics, people being plagued, people's walking around, just catching hell. All right. Because ultimately the society is a wicked society. It's not a righteous society, man. All right. And then when you line it up to the scriptures, everything about this society goes contrary to what the scriptures outlines as righteousness. Okay. So, we're definitely, are to seek, and to hasten to leave these times, because the Lord is letting us know that this place only has so much, it's pretty much on borrowed time. All right. So seeing the evil, we gotta, hide ourselves within, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Shema Shai, hastening and looking forward to, to ultimately, make that departure. All right. But Lord's will, this lesson is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shema Shai, by Shema Chakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us his truth and who also were well. Peace and salutation to those that are hopeful for the elect. Shalom and above.